better happen, because that's what I expect when I click the button. And
says
we are
live.
live.
All right.
Welcome,
I'm
everybody.
alive.
I am RJ Carter with CriticalBlast.com, and we are having our retailer unofficial summit tonight for the Crisis on Infinite Comic Stores. This is Wednesday, NCBD, which now stands for No Comic Book Day, as the coronavirus has us shut down across the country, economically crippling the entire four-color funny book business. With us tonight, we have Michael Tierney from the comic book store in Little Rock. And we have Uel Carter from Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. We may have Dave Dyer join us a little bit later tonight. He hasn't made it yet, but if he pops in, we will add him to the stream. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing all right.
This is the second week of no new comics. Is that correct, or did I miss a week?
No, you're right. Yeah.
The days are blending. And Michael, you had mentioned the last time we did this 2 weeks ago that we've gone through 9/11, we've gone through World War II, and never, ever have we missed a ship week for comic books.
Vietnam, Korea, we had this shuttle Challenger explosion. We had everything, like the terrorist attacks, tower buildings falling, and comics always came out on time. But not now. I forget if it was Marvel or DC, but one of them said they're going to reevaluate having a single distributor system. So it's about time, because every week at my stores, both of them, it's always 10 to 25% shortages and some damages. I mean, that's a killer. I mean, that's just, they didn't do that back when they had competition. I mean, because I've dealt with Diamond since the 80s. I started out as a Capital City account back in 82, switched over to Diamond. And, they were really great for a long time when they had the competitors. Now, as the competitors went away, so did the quality of the service. And, Memphis is just, being serviced out of Memphis is kind of a nightmare.
And
I
Uel,
concur.
what about you? How long's Fantastic Comics been going on there, Uel?
So we have been in business since 2011. So, there was kind of like a dip in sales at the time, and then there was the raise, and then we've seen how it's gone. So I've gotten to see a lot in my short time, my 8 years in business. But I've been working as a comic store grunt for back in the Capital City days. So, yeah, I've seen
Michael,
a lot of it,
you've been
too.
at this for...
Yeah, actually, I take that back. I didn't start with Capital City. I was with Pacific Comics first.
Whoa.
Then I switched over to Capital City right before Pacific went under. And then I switched over to Diamond not long before Capital City went under. Well, what happened with me on Capital City, what was the breaking point on Capital, was they used to have handwritten sheets about adding up your invoice every week. And they never added the sheets up together. They were always adding it where I owed more money than I really did. So every week I was calling them going, look, these numbers don't add up. And of course, I'd always have to call about each invoice about 2 or 3 times to get it corrected. And finally, every week I'm like, okay, here's this other one you haven't done. Here's this other one. And finally, I said, look, guys, how do you ever get any work done if you're having to deal with all these incorrect invoices every week? And the woman tells me, well, you're the only one who notices. I had that account closed so fast. That's what I gave them a try. They were computerized. I checked. I still to this day from time to time will check it with the calculator. And, they have accurate invoicing, so they don't fudge a little bit on the side to get a little extra money out of you.
And so, Michael, you've been at this for over 3 decades now.
Since 1982, getting close to 4 decades.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have a big anniversary sale coming up here.
I hope so.
Assuming there's still comic book stores.
As long as we got something still to sell, yeah.
Speaking of which, Uel, obviously nobody's coming in the store there.
Yes. Yeah, we've been shut down since the 15th of March. That was our last day, actually. And we closed early. We had been closing early anyway because all through February it had been dead, just dead. The regulars would come in and get their comic books, but everybody else that was on the street was just kind of like milling about. And you get the reports, and as more and more of the virus stuff comes in, you're like, I don't really want to be here as much right now, since we're like kind of in a space where there's a lot of people that come in just to come in. So we shut down. We took the advice of everybody, seriously. It's just a 2-man operation, and we can't afford to get sick. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different ways you can believe or accept what you have to do when it comes to this. But our state was like, hey, no non-essentials. So that's what we're doing. No non-essential.
All right. And Michael, you've not closed down, but how are you getting
we're
people
open
to
as-
keep coming in the store?
We're open as business as usual, and we still have, traffic is not like traffic used to be. It's kind of funny because today, at one point, everybody in my store was wearing a mask, but who was that masked man? But it's been crazy. But I was kind of ahead of the curve on this thing. Like one of my supporters when I ran for office was a biochemist who's descended from people from China. And so he was cueing me in on YouTube, Facebook conversation about, man, this thing's getting out of control in China. They're not taking care of this right. And then same thing with WHO. And so before it ever hit in America, I was telling my employees, you need to get ready for this. This is what's coming. Even said something to the mayor. He didn't reply. I guess he just didn't think I know what I was talking about. So I've been one step ahead of the game all along. That's one of the reasons why we kind of got into, selling online a little bit more and, setting up an eBay store and all that. But we're actually pretty lucky down here in Arkansas. The governor was talking just yesterday about our infection rate. It's like a 2,500 of 1% infection rate. It's not too bad down here. We haven't had but deaths in 1 out of the last 5 days. So it's not hitting us too bad. Of course, now another thing too, Arkansas, we're what they call a natural state. That's the slogan for it. And we're surrounded by green. We're out all the time in the middle of Mother Nature. I think we've got a lot more natural immunities down here. Most of the cases that we did get were people coming up from Mardi Gras. So all of our infections are pretty much from Mardi Gras, except for a few people, like one doctor who got infected and still made his rounds at nursing homes and infected everybody there. But we're in pretty good shape down here. It hasn't been bad at all.
Yeah, one of the things that that has gotten me about watching the comic shops and Diamond in particular during this time is exactly how thin the ice was on the lake as far as cash reserves go for being able to maintain business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've had some comic shops like Lee's Comics, they closed down for the virus, and they're like, you know what, we're closed down entirely. So they couldn't make it 2 weeks, and then Diamond can't make it a week without saying, hey, we don't have enough money to pay the publishers now.
I think it's more why they closed down than anything else. If they had competition, they would have found a way to stay. But it was just one warehouse in one state. Now, I'm sure that's probably changed as more quarantines went on. But they weren't getting paid by a lot of retailers who were closed down, had no way to pay. They had no reserve to even pay one invoice. And so the publishers were all wanting to get paid by Diamond. And all their plans were like, okay, in a couple months, we'll let you do returns, or we'll give you these extra discounts on a future invoice. Just keep that money coming. Diamond was caught in the middle where the publishers want their money. And they weren't doing anything immediate when it was an immediate problem. And a lot of stores, like Uel out there in California, you couldn't sell your stuff. And so they would say, hey, come on, keep paying for it anyway, and we'll do something later. And so they got kind of put in a possible situation. I can understand a little bit where they're coming from. Still, though, if they'd had competition, they would have found out a way. If their competition was still shipping, they still would have been shipping.
Yeah, we took advantage of the COVID cease shipping plan that Diamond had. Since we were already not going to be open the next week, I was just assuming I was going to get that Spider-Man 42 that month or that week. We were going to get that in, but we put it on hold, and they were going to hold all our stuff going forward. And I assume there were other stores that did that. And once they saw how many maybe did that kind of thing or how it could potentially become, they were, I mean, I have talked to you earlier before the show about how small stores don't really have a lot of say in in the comic book industry.
Yeah.
But enough of us pull that. Diamond's going to pay attention, and they did.
Yeah.
And and as a result, they forced Marvel's hand, and they were like asleep at the wheel. DC was even worse. They were the ones you were saying had like I don't know what they were. Oh, different distribution means. They were talking about, and the Diamond did that was like the only time I really felt they did the solid for comic stores out there when they told Marvel, hey, we're not going to do your stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got a call from my Diamond rep today, and he said, well, how you doing? I need books. I'm open. Send me some books there. And they couldn't give me no updates. They were just going around calling his accounts, I guess probably to see who's still in business, so they know how much quicker they need to get back in business. I'm not sure. But he just said, well, I was just told to call and see how you're doing. Like, I'm doing fine. I'm open. Give me some books.
Now, Michael, being in Arkansas, you'll be familiar with this concept more than northern folks. And I know you've only been in business for almost 40 years, not that long, but after the war of northern aggression,
Yankees.
When businesses were failing and everything was going on, you had this trend of carpetbaggers who came down with money to pick up the scraps and make fortunes for themselves. I got to wondering, when this is all over with stores closing, about who would be the comic book shop carpetbaggers who would be ready to come in and scoop up all these failed businesses and make something out of them, if at all.
I'm getting a lot of emails from auction houses saying, "Hey, you got anything put on auction?"
Oh.
Yeah, they're kind of scooping it up right now, and they're doing pretty good because everybody's sitting home like, "Yeah, I can use another copy of that," or "Yeah, give me that." So right now, auctions do very well, and just by luck, I had a couple of early Batmans, like a number 11 that was slabbed, and a number 14 that I'd sent off to a Comic Connect to put in their auction, their very next auction. I sent that off to them a long time ago, and then so I just try auction it off, and now it just turns out it's probably going to be auctioning at a good time. So yeah, it's interesting timing now.
And we've got Dave Dyer with us. Dave, how you doing?
All right, I had to reboot the computer, so.
Oh,
Sorry
fun.
about that.
That's all right. We got Uel Carter here from Berkeley, and you know Michael already.
I do. How are
Hey,
you
Dave.
guys?
Doing okay, Dave. At least it didn't do an update on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did. I didn't have to come in and say rest in peace, Cosmic Comics. How is the store holding out there? Because we were talking about how cash reserves had caused some of the stores to go down because they didn't have enough to go 2 weeks, let alone however long this is going to go.
Yeah, I mean we're dead in the water. I'm still secretively selling a little bit out of the door at curbside, but yeah, it's nothing's happening. We're dead. I'm in my shop right now because I've been working on my website, trying to get stuff listed on the website. So yeah, we're doing what we can to survive, but even that's not enough. So yeah, it's difficult. It's been a rough time.
Have either of you applied for any of the new SBA assistant programs?
I have.
Well, the problem, I think, Michael, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, unless they changed something in the last week or so. Somebody like me falls through the cracks because, I haven't been in business for 2 years. I've only been in business for a year and a half.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the only employee, so I don't have 5 or more. So I fall through the cracks on that one. As far as unemployment goes, because I'm still a young company, I don't give myself a paycheck, so therefore I'm not paying into unemployment. So I've got no unemployment. See? So yeah, I'm that little guy who, like I said, falls through the cracks.
Ouch.
So,
You're one of the people who, if your company were to fail, would be picked up by what we were just talking about, the comic book carpetbaggers, whoever would come through and pick up the scraps when all this is over with.
yeah, the vultures, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to say any names. I know some people would probably be the ones going around trying to buy store inventory, but I'm not saying the names.
I'm really, I hope that God, I mean, I don't think it'll happen for us because luckily my wife is still working. So there's still something coming in, but if this thing stretches out past April, I'm going to start sweating, and I know a lot of my other friends and people who I know have small businesses, they're going to start sweating as well. And I think the casualties on this are going to be more than we want to count.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were talking before you and I, before the show started, we may not, the small business like us may not account for a huge majority of the sales, but we are the majority of the stores that are the contact points for fans to get into the hobby around the nation. Yeah. And I think Marvel DC might find out we're a lot more important to them than some guy who's, like me, I'm in a state where I got 4 million people in the entire state. That's part of the reason why we don't have much of a pandemic problem. You have other stores, they have 4 million people in the city, or sometimes even in just a few block area. If you're talking about New York, they're the ones with a big problem. So,
Michael, you're still open, right?
Yeah, I'm still open for business. Yeah.
Okay. And what about Fantastic Comics. Are they? No, so you're
No,
like,
we're in California. Where are you?
I'm in just over the bridge from St. Louis. I'm in Metro East Illinois or Metro East Missouri.
We're in Venezuela, Illinois, where you can't buy toilet paper and there's a bread line outside Walmart. Before
Dude, there's no toilet paper anywhere.
Same
I
thing here.
still don't understand that one.
The toilet paper zombies.
I see people delivering. They're like, hey, you can buy this and we'll send some toilet paper with it.
Yeah.
There's a woman cruising the neighborhood just selling them out of her trunk, $5 a roll.
Wow.
Now you can buy it all.
My wife went on Marketplace and a guy was selling a bunch of toilet paper and paper towels, and the whole lot was like $40. And I'm like, man, that's a really good price for all that paper. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
When
You
this
know?
thing first started, I put up a joke auction of superhero brand toilet paper. Basically, 40 comics for $20.
Yeah. Yeah.
But eBay won't let you put up any auctions now that has the words toilet paper in it.
So what I'm going to do is I'll just sell copies of my book for like $150 a piece, but I'll use toilet paper to pack the box with.
Right.
Now, I have noticed that your other book, the one that had a short story in, I noticed its sales been popping up here in the last few weeks.
Well,
You
it's
get a
about
lot of good
time.
sales on Amazon.
That's Gods and Services. Folks. You can find the link in the below here if you want to help out the channel. Thank you, Michael, for throwing that up there. So yeah, we want the books to sell, but you've got copies in your store, so
Yeah, I got some for sale too.
they can't buy new comic books. Push the anthology, of course.
I'll do that.
Yeah, of course, I
For
always
those who
tell
don't
everybody, I
know,
always have
Critical
somebody
Blast is
available to do
also
signing
publishing
in one of the stores.
So,
Well,
so Michael's still open for business. God bless you for that.
But
Like I said,
traffic's
carry the torch,
slow.
brother. But what was Fantastic Comics? What was your name again, Brad?
Uel.
Uel?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I see it right there. I guess if I straighten my glasses, I'm trying to get the glare off my glasses. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Uel, are you doing like I am with curbside and out the door? Or you guys
No,
getting good
I'm taking the precautions that we were, we're not supposed to be open, as far as being a non-essential, and I'm taking it seriously. If only like for my own self-preservation personally. I've got a little I got a little thing going on in my head that says like I should probably take care of myself this year.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I'm excited to open up the store again. We were actually in the process of moving, and we're supposed to open April 1st at the new location. It was going to be smaller and magazine or subscription based, and also mail order. It was a different. It's a different. Where we are located right now is in the city, and there's a lot of people that come by either from the college or people that are visiting. So we get a lot of walk-through traffic, and as a result, we sell actually trade paperbacks, graphic novels, that type of stuff quite well. Because people don't want to get loaded up with a bunch of comics when they're on vacation, but a book or two does really well. And traffic in the store had come to an almost a halt in February. And we just cut out in March, and we haven't even been able to move the store or anything like that. So when we finally moved to the new location, we're set up for this new world. Talking about carpetbaggers, I think that's going to be online sales, actually, personally.
Well, we've talked about online sales a couple of times here, and prior to the show, Twitter user Lunar Archivist, it's hard to say, gave some suggestions for a process that they have been trying to put together with some other retailers for helping the industry, which they've been working on for a couple of years now. And one of those suggestions was to place the back issue inventory online. They mentioned stores like Comic Hunter have done this for their nearly 100,000 plus inventory and have made it available for download as a PDF catalog. So that could be a very tedious process if you've got to type everything in, of course.
Yeah.
But
It's easier said
how
than
is
done.
how are you guys doing your online businesses right now?
I'm selling a lot on eBay right now.
You know what? eBay in California, we're getting a hit. A lot of people don't want to buy from us because of taxes.
You guys
So
taxes.
California's getting screwed on eBay right now as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. And not only that, eBay, I mean, eBay sucks you dry so bad. I mean, you are cutting your throat to spite your face. I mean, you got to underbid everybody to sell something, and then by the time eBay takes their percentage, what's the point? You know, I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to put a $3.99 comic on, or I'm going to try to sell, you know, a $20 comic, but then eBay's still going to take their 10%, and then PayPal takes their 3%. And I mean, I've got stuff on eBay. It's just not moving right now. I sold a $200 Godzilla. I got to pay eBay $20 on that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Hey,
like,
then you put stuff directly on Facebook before too, though. I mean, that's how we met when I was living in Texas, and you were putting some stuff on Facebook on your page, and we said, "Hey, send me that."
Yeah, which, you know, I would love to do if I still had new product coming in, and that's why I'm sitting in my shop. I've been working on our own website so that we can get that up and going, and that is an extremely long, tedious process. That I'm sitting here putting in a product, putting photos in, descriptions. I mean, it's no different than eBay, but you know, I want the money to come to me. I want 100% of that money coming to me and not giving it to the middleman, which is your eBays and all that.
Dave, let me ask you a question. How much is new sales, or are new sales actually your make up your profit?
Yeah. Well, for me, my new sales of comic books are my number one seller still.
Mm-hmm.
And then my back issue, I have dollar bins and $3 bins, you know, 2 for $5, that kind of thing. Then that would be my second largest sale, would be back issues like that. And then toys and games, you know, toys are probably about 20%, maybe games are sitting in there around 15%. So, it's the new, my whole front section is this really nice area where I put all the new comics. And even that, I've had to rethink everything. Like, I just did my final cutoff for Diamond. You know, I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do every week, and I'm in there really trimming. I'm trimming a lot.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know when it's going to happen again. And if it, look, even when it does happen, guys, it's not like you're going to turn the open sign on. There's going to be a line of people outside.
No way. I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically us starting all over again. Sure, we'll get our core military people, which I take care of a lot of. They'll come in because they got a JOB, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people I know who are my customers have lost their jobs. They don't have any income coming in. They don't know if they're going to get their jobs back. Nobody knows. So, and that makes me sweat.
That's going to be a big problem. And we've already got the problem about the fact that almost everything we sell from Marvel has no sales history. It's always miniseries after miniseries, a one-shot or a new series.
Right.
And, you know, so you're already guessing, and now you're going to have the extra guess of, you know, how many of my customers are going to return after this.
Yeah. And then I saw this thing, these two other guys, and Howard, I don't know if you saw it or not. And if not, I'll send a link to Howard. He can send it out to you guys. But they have a YouTube show, and it was a 20-minute show, and these guys were talking about the new industry now, the way that the comic book industry is going to look once this all is over, and they think everything's going to go digital. And I disagree, because now Michael's got a good young fan base, and Uel, I don't know if you've got a younger fan base. Mine in the Midwest is more of the 30-something crowd. Sure, there's a couple of kids, but to try to get anybody who's over 50 years old, like me, to try to get them to go digital ain't going to happen.
No, they don't like that format at all.
No, they hate that format. And I'm sorry, but that's my major clientele. They're the ones that come in and drop $40, $70, $120 every Wednesday, okay? Mm-hmm. A kid comes in, his dad might get him, you know, 1 comic, 2 comics. Might make, you know, what, $8 off of them, okay? So, and then your digital format is still, what, $2.99? So they're
more than that.
Yeah. I'm like, it's crazy. And it's not even a tangible item that you're holding in your hand.
Dude, I think if they would have if they wanted to go digital and they had the sales to back it up, They would have done that a week ago.
Oh yeah.
Digital sales are dropping for
Hit
them.
the
Too.
nail on the head right there.
Yeah, I just think they would have done it because when has Marvel ever really cared about the comic store? I mean, I love Marvel. You know, give me some Spider-Man, give me some X-Men. I hate the Avengers, but that's my thing. You know,
Right.
but if they saw, I mean, who knows, man? We don't even know if Marvel really cares about comic books.
I
But
don't
if
think any of them do.
but
I don't think Marvel or DC do. I think all they care about is the bottom dollar.
Right.
The fact that Marvel the other day, they said, we stopped printing. You're not going to get anything. We're not even doing digital format. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know? To me, that shows that
Pencils
they
down.
don't care. They don't
Mhm.
care. And then DC says, well, you know, we're working on a way to get you comics. And that was what, 2 weeks ago? We've heard nothing.
Well, and that was almost forced out of them also.
Yeah. Well, they got such backlash.
They were real silent.
I was
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
on Facebook, and these guys were just totally bitching and moaning. I can't believe DC's going to do that. How dare they? Think that is so typical of a money-grubbing company. And I'm like, wait a minute here. Where are you guys coming up with that idea? All they said was they're trying to get new material to the stores that are open or those who do mail order like I do. Why is that a sin all of a sudden? You know? And I said, most of you people obviously don't own stores who are saying this. Because if you did, you would welcome getting a shipment, you know, so that I can post it on Facebook or on my website or on eBay and then get it out to the people.
I don't know about you guys, but I read new comics when they come out, and this has been horrible. If I represent the people that come in my store, and I mean, I'm reading older comics now. You know, all this stuff that I have back here. You know, I'm reading it again, and I'm like going over and doing reviews and that kind of stuff. I'm falling in love with the old stuff again. I hesitate to see where comics are going to go moving forward.
I think
Because-
older stuff had better stories. The modern stuff has some better artwork with the computer coloring and all that.
Sure thing. I just feel like if you prove that you don't need something to someone, when it finally comes back, are they going to come back? And that's the question I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
After 4 weeks,
I'm not worried about
Okay.
DC or Marvel. I'm worried about the independent guys. Okay?
Right.
I'm really worried about, you know, Scout Comics,
Vault, Oni.
all those guys. You know?
Lions Forge just, I think they folded basically.
Yeah,
and they're part of Oni.
They're close to me. You know, I'm worried about American Mythology. Love that company. Zenoscope, love them. I'm worried about those little guys. I mean, because look, Marvel and DC, that's Ford and Chrysler. Okay, they're not going to go anywhere. So they've already worked their way into motion picture and television, yada yada yada. But the little guys, which is where all the really good stories are coming from, the great up and coming artists. Those are the ones I'm worried about. Because that, like Michael and I, we both have a lot of that indie stuff in our shop. I'm sure you do as well.
Sure thing.
You know, and people love that. But I'm afraid that's what's going to get hit.
And what's going to be scary is when they do finally start publishing again for Marvel and DC, we're going to get the 5G is going to be our first new product, and that's just going to be like Convergence Part 2, which that does not bode well for getting the fans back into the stores at all.
You know
thought
what?
they
They
killed
may rethink all of that crap right now.
They have a
So-
time to do it.
Yeah. Now's the time to clean house, get in there, spring clean, get rid of the people who don't do shit for your company. Marvel and DC, by the way. Okay, get in there, clean house, tighten up the reins because you can't afford all those artists anymore. So you're gonna have to tighten things up, and you know, go that route. And I think that it could help because Batman had great storylines, especially with the punchline character coming in, the designer character. You got the new Joker thing coming up. You know, all that's going to do really well for DC. And they were doing really well until this, you know, pandemic hit. And fucking knock the wind out of their sails.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one
Yeah,
more
I
issue.
didn't-
We got Batman '92.
yeah, look at that. I mean,
I
You know,
ordered more, and I was moving to a smaller location.
exactly. I mean, I'm sitting here in my coffee shop right now that hasn't been open for months because of this stuff. And Howard knows my shop. I have about 2,500 square feet. Most of it is comics, and the other half is a movie theater / coffee shop. You know,
I hear AMC's are going to close down, maybe.
wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know what time I haven't seen an AMC.
Yeah. Well, and then up the street here on West Main in Belleville, Illinois, there's a 5 and dime called Ben's. It's been there for a long time. And Howard, I just heard they're closing up. That's it.
For good?
Yep. Everything's on
Oh
sale
my
and they're
God.
packing up. So that's
a
going to be a
landmark.
massive hit on the commerce around this area. So
Well, it's a good time if you want to close up because you got your accounts frozen. You're not getting any products, so it'd be like, okay, I'm out of here. Or
No,
any other time of year, you got to pay for 2 months worth of stuff.
yeah.
And nobody's going to like say, oh, nobody's going to say they don't understand why you closed up. That's why like Lee's. I wonder, like, I wondered on another show I was on whether or not Diamond, Jeppy, he gets like crapped on all the time. Diamond gets crapped on all the time. I mean, he's older. He lost his museum. He's, all that stuff. Does he really even want to keep doing it? I wonder. And if he does want to do that,
Well, I mean,
Exactly. What if Steve Jeppy decides that, I'm going to go the way of Lee's Comics. I'm out of business. What the hell?
DC has an
happens
option
then?
to buy them.
well, there
Yeah.
you go. But
I mean, they're not going to look. Giuseppe may not own it, or that family may not own anymore. But Diamond will continue on, and hopefully, if they do sell, man, I hope they don't conglomerate like they've done. I want to see other distributors. I want to be able to go shop around to get my distribution. I don't want to pay. No offense to you, but I don't want to pay California prices for Midwest.
no. Yeah,
You know?
you're right.
I mean, back
What-
here, I'm real close to, I'm about maybe 45 minutes, an hour away from Sparta, Illinois. Diamond used to have a distribution there. We used to be
Capital
able to
City, too.
drive from
And
St.
Pacific.
Louis over, pick up our own book, and drive back to the shop.
Well, and
know,
I'm
we're
old
very
enough when Sparta printed everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Letterpress.
we're very graphic novel based in my store, and we have accounts from Ingram. We get books straight from Scholastic and Abrams and First Second. So in that aspect of distribution, we totally use different sources. But when it comes to just the monthly pamphlets, as some people call them, it's all Diamond. And yeah. I mean, I love Diamond. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they stepped up in a big way, and back in the night. I mean, shit, Michael, back when Marvel bought what Heroes World, or that was screwy. I mean, we had a Capital account, and we were. This is the store I worked at, and we were like scrambling. We got to get Marvel, and we got to get Diamond, or we got to get DC, and we got to go over here to get Image and all this other crap, and that was a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Every month with 2 stores, I had to fill out 6 catalog orders. The Marvel order, the DC order, then the Capital for all the other publishers' orders. And I had to do that for each store. So that was 6 orders every month.
And you didn't like Capital.
Well, not that I didn't like them. I mean, I got along
I'm
with them. They
joking.
just kept trying to overcharge me all the time. I didn't care for that. I liked the people. I just didn't care for the bill.
Yeah.
Well, there are other distribution networks that are trying to form now. I know that Peter Samedi has been working on one out of Alterna Comics for a while. He wasn't ready to launch it yet, and he wasn't going to rush it and do a half-assed job of it just because the Corona thing hit. I know there's this thing called Comics Hub that somebody thought was going to be the savior of the whole business, and other people said, "Yeah, no, that's not going to work either." But there are ideas out there.
Yeah, it just felt like another step to get your comic books. It just,
Yeah.
And not only that, but comic stores, especially the comic industry, we're very slow to change sometimes. It's funny because like comic books as a story medium, they can react to social situations or stories that are popular real quick compared to like a novel or a movie or TV. But when it comes to actually selling comic books, we're in the Stone Ages still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Or buying.
They used to be able to react that quickly. I mean, I was going to do a video this week, and I never got around to it because I'm in back issue mode myself now because what else am I going to be doing? So I was sitting here reading, 1975, 1979, 1983, or 6, and I'm like, you know what? This is Superman fighting Lex Luthor. This story had a beginning, a middle, an end. It was complex. It brought in another superhero to help out. He thought through, E. Nielsen Bredwell thought through the entire problem of Superman growing big and his brain staying small and not being able to control his actions and not being able to think. And then it finished, and I'm like, that was a whole freaking story in one issue.
Today that'd be a 12-part miniseries.
Oh, it sure would.
Yeah.
I always say that like these big story arcs, you look at them and you're like, wow, I really enjoyed that. But that comic book that you just said, talked about, that has so many aspects of it that, you're going to remember going forward. Granted, comics come out so quickly these days. You might have read that like 4 or 5 times before the next issue came out also. But, you have your kid, you have a lot more time. You reread the issue. I'll read that backup story I don't care about. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, man. You just wouldn't read an entire story arc, 6 issues, 12 issues, 18 issues again and again and again like you would a 1-issue story.
You know what? It wasn't that long ago. This is the 80s. John Byrne did the same thing. He was doing one-and-done stories with a one-and-done backup.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that was still at least 30 years ago. I was
You make me feel old, man.
I was well, you want to hear
40 almost.
Here's something to make you feel old. I was when everybody was all upset that Peter Parker died. This was an Ultimate Spider-Man. And I was saying, don't worry, this isn't the important Peter Parker, 616 is important. But you don't realize that this 18-year-old or maybe 15-year-old, the only Spider-Man they read was Ultimate Spider-Man. And so when Peter Parker died in that comic book, it was very emotional for those readers. And I'm like, oh, I realize I'm old now.
Yeah, if you need any more copies of it, I still got a bunch because I overbought.
Yeah.
Well, let's break for a second here. I want to ask how everybody's mental health is doing as a comic shop owner while you're shut down here. Because, and I'll see if I can bring the screenshots up here, some of y'all, not specifically y'all, but some of y'all have been losing your minds. To the point that we've got a guy here.
Oh, I'm glad you weren't talking about me.
No, I don't have. I'm not bringing your screenshots up until you're not on the show. We've got a guy here who's just gone flipping crazy here. And this is to a comic book creator. He sent Facebook messages, says, I'm coming to beat your ass, son. Why not make it a feature in an upcoming comic convention? Could be fun. I'm going to beat your ass either way, but let people have an opportunity to enjoy me beating your ass in public, right? And, the guy said, hey, bro, there aren't going to be any more conventions. You're going to have to wake up. So the guy said, I'll just find your home address then. And he literally says, give me your home address and give the police an actual reason to be concerned because I will come to your house and blow your effing face off your skull. Yeah. That is a fact.
Wow.
Folks.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah, being shut in has hurt a lot of people.
You're going
to minds in that case.
Crazy.
Yeah, I understand that. But not threatening people's lives.
No.
That's crazy.
So
let's talk about politics then. No, I'm kidding.
I don't want my life threatened.
The one thing I've noticed through all of this is I have snoozed a lot of people for 30 days on Facebook more than I ever have because I'm just tired of all the rhetoric. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. This political party's fault. That political party's fault. It's my fault that I'm not open. you know, all of that. And it's hard enough to get up in the morning when you know your shop is closed and you can't go into work and you can't serve the public and, you know, get them their books that they want on a regular basis. And that my phone gets blown up, you know, every week. Have you heard anything more? When are you going to open? Is there anything new that's come in? No, there's nothing. It's the same thing I have to tell everybody over and over again. Nothing new is happening. And yeah, I start to feel it, man. I woke up Monday and that dark cloud was hanging over my head, and I went down in the basement, didn't talk to my wife all day, and just stayed in the dark. You know, I mean, just you talk about, remember that old Simon and Garfield song, you know? What is it? Simon and Garfunkel?
Garfunkel. Oh, I like the Simon.
The Garfield one was later years.
That's when he turned into a cat.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's crazy. And you know what? I bet liquor sales spike at liquor stores.
Oh, I've got some customers who do that. Yeah, they're telling me it's crazy, and they're doing door to door. So I asked one guy who was in today, who's a liquor salesman. I asked him, I said, "What's selling best? Alcohol, you know, hard alcohol, liquor, or beer, or wine?" What do you guys think was his answer?
All of it.
All of the above.
Well, there's one that's selling a lot more than the other two.
Hard alcohol?
Hard liquor.
Hard
wine.
liquor.
All these
wine.
moms are stuck home with
Ladies,
the kids
yeah.
that aren't in school. Send us a 55-gallon jug.
Yeah.
I've seen an increase in wine over here too.
Yeah. Man, if I knew my liquor store would deliver to the store, they'd be getting phone calls from me every day. So.
Yeah, they're doing door-to-door deliveries even. I mean,
Wow.
I've got one that's
You
real
hear
close
that
to my
Corona?
store. They're always got a line of cars out there.
Yeah. And
I find it interesting that in
beer
Illinois,
is
the
no
liquor
longer
stores are
in
essential
production.
businesses.
They've shut down Corona beer.
Yeah, they're going to change the name of their beer from Corona to something a little bit more consumer friendly. I think they're going to switch it to Ebola Light.
Oh, you know, I almost tried to do some kind of picture. Did we lose you, or did you just take your camera off there, bud?
I just took the camera off for a sec.
Gotcha. I thought about doing some kind of a graphic because I had this whole Crisis on Infinite comic shops going on here.
Mhm.
And this is for the readers among you, the comic book readers, but the entire Crisis on Infinite Earths that obviously I'm ripping on was caused by an old guy named Krona.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Looking back in the past.
No, that was a great
Corona.
storyline.
And this one's caused by Corona. I wonder if they're any relation, right?
Yeah. 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 It's great. It's sad when you know, Corona beer can't even stay in production because people think they're going to get the virus drinking it.
Yeah, I heard one story of a guy before the Super Bowl. His girlfriend poured out all his Corona beer because she thought to give him the virus. Right before the Super Bowl.
Oh, crazy, man.
Our last big sporting event.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
It's good for you. It's good
I'm a
for
Chiefs
you.
Fan.
I
I made a meme joke online about that the comeback from behind victory was so startling, such a can't top this moment. They just canceled all of the sports around the world.
Yeah. Thank God. Wow.
So
Yeah.
what are the predictions for when we do go back into business? I mean, is it just, you know, like a couple more weeks?
It's getting better here in Arkansas. You know, it's getting better all the time, and we're way below what the curve was predicted for us. So I'm hoping this thing is crested and start to get better, and maybe by the end of the month. Now you get up like in New York, it's a whole different story. So you know, it's going to be a nationwide decision there. So, but down
As
here in
far as-
Arkansas, it's time almost to get back to it.
Yeah, as far as comic books are concerned, I think I mean, as you know, Chicago, Illinois, New York, Los Angeles goes, California's been getting really good marks. So, you know, take that for what it is. But they're talking about this 2 weeks being the critical mass of this thing. So if we can get past this 2 weeks, then we'll see we're going to be pretty good. But, you know, we're going to have to maintain our distance for a while regardless. And I'm not sure, like we've talked about, you know, when are people going to be able to be spending discretionary funds for comic books?
What scares me is this is probably going to be like the Spanish flu, which is still with us today, killed 30,000 people just in the last winter. So I mean, that could be just something we're just going to have to live with from now on. We have to create a herd immunity, which is what we'll see have done on the pandemic of the flu, Spanish flu. But like I said, it's still with us. Like I said, 30,000 dead just this year alone. So
Well,
it could be an annual thing.
Exactly. The numbers I've seen so far, one death is a tragedy. One death that we can prevent is one too many. But when you start talking about these seasonal diseases, we've had twice as many people die this season from this season's flu as we have from COVID-19.
Right. Now,
and we're all going to have those things.
Yeah. Now the flip side of it, though, the corona means it's got an outer envelope. It's what they call an envelope virus, and those do not do well in summer. Now this is actually, and if you look at the full name of it, it's got SARS-2 in there. SARS-1, when the summer came, it was gone and it never came back. So hopefully maybe that'll happen. I don't know. It just seems to be so virulent and so all around the world. I don't know if that's a pipe dream or not, but it could be something we just have to deal with from now on.
Right. Yeah. There's just so many things to take in when talking about this. It's hard to know where, not knowing anything for real, it's hard to know where things are really going to go. So that's why why me and my brother who run the store, that's why we chose to be just shut down. It's unfortunate, and we are in a better position than, stores like Dave's. Obviously Michael is doing okay or better or okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
hanging in there,
I should say.
I don't want to send my employees to unemployment there. I'm trying to keep
right.
Going.
Yeah. Like I said, it's me and my brother. We knew what we were doing. And as far as like taking care of the store, we're on a good hiatus and we're going to be okay going forward. But that's, all dependent on how the rest of the world is also.
Yeah. And that's true. We don't know when the sun starts shining again. We don't know what this world's going to look like. I could come out my door here at the shop and look up and down the street and see nothing but vacancy. That's I'm not only just thinking about myself, I'm thinking about all the other small businesses that are out there, whatever they may be. The bars, the restaurants, the local movie theater. I'm afraid to see what it's all going to look like. Somebody made a comment on Facebook that now's a great time to shoot your zombie film, that you want to shoot.
There's going to be a lot of those.
So,
free filming.
Yeah, exactly. I am afraid because I know that, we're all, except for Michael, but Uel and I are going to have to take a step back here. And, you're already reevaluating what you need to do. I don't necessarily want to move, and I don't have any intentions of moving. But I just know that when I open that door, it'll be good to see my old faces, but I'm not going to have that walk in traffic as much as I used to.
You got to build it back up again. It'd be like starting all over again.
Yeah, I'm back to square one.
That's sometimes that feels good. Clean slate, everybody.
Yeah.
Except I have all those bills, obviously, still.
Yeah, bills are not slowing down. That's for sure.
Well, and we still don't know what Diamond's going to do. How is Diamond going to do all this? Like I said, I don't want to see 3 orders come at me all at once. And
I don't think it can because the publishers, the printers are shut down, so they're not making books anymore.
But so the stuff that's still sitting there that had been printed.
Oh well, yeah, because you guys didn't sell those last few shipments. Yeah, that's another story.
Exactly, and I don't want to see a $7,000 shipment come in the door and Diamond expects me to fork it over.
Especially if people aren't coming in.
Yeah. Because
I'm lucky that I'm still current with my terms because I got my last few shipments in, sold them, so I'm current. Probably one of the few stores that's still current with Diamond.
But so a lot of us younger stores work week to week. The money we make that week goes to the next week. Come on, it's a comic book industry. I knew going into this, I wasn't going to get rich doing this.
No, you won't.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing it 40 years, haven't got rich yet.
Oh, yeah. Damn. I was really hoping the next decade would make a difference.
No, my cousins
Yeah,
all tell me
yeah,
how
they
I
do
live in a
Spider-Man.
mansion. I've got action number one. Like all those are stories. None of them are true.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's
Oh man, that's the behind the scenes talk there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about all the things I heard people have.
Now, I did work
I
when
got
I was
a
in
phone call
college.
the other day from this guy. It was actually he had left a message on my phone. He's like, "Hey, want to know if you're interested in buying? I have the Death of Superman. I want to know if you're interested in buying that. Give me a call." I started laughing because I'm like, "Yeah, I've got 4 of those sitting over in my box right now."
Mm-hmm.
And it just cracks me up. And I had a guy call today. Are you buying comics? I'm like, no.
No, I don't want your COVID.
Yeah. Not during this COVID. I'm not. And he hung up on me.
Oh no, yeah, people are so rude. If you're not giving me money, then all politeness goes
Right.
out the window.
I'm like, I feel like going, you are aware of what's going on in the world, right? I mean, you do know what's happening, right?
Probably why he's trying to sell his comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the one thing I was wondering, Michael, you were talking about actually selling through an auction house. Do you think that right now this is the time, if you're a buyer of comic books, this is a time to get a really good deal on, like key issues and stuff like that? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, apparently the auctions, like Heritage, is reporting record sales. So
Really?
actually
Well,
not.
Is that number of sales or number of high sales?
Right.
They just said they're having record sales, and
That's good.
Yeah, so I assume that means a record high sales, and actually I'm getting requests from all these different auction houses. Hey, got anything you want to consign? Like I say, I already had 2 books consigned, but that was way before even any of this hit. So
No, I have a friend who just literally, I forget if he got it on eBay or whatever, but got a whole stash for like $80. I mean, that it was really good key issues in there. And obviously this guy, I mean, this is going to happen. You're going to have people who are just so desperate for money, they're going to dump stuff at, rock bottom prices or the basement prices, So, and I imagine the auctions are doing the same thing.
You're not going to believe this. I picked up a collection, and it had this one book I was going to maybe put out for $5. So I thought, well, I'll put it out on auction, just see what happens. It was Amazing Spider-Man 300, but it was the nastiest copy you ever saw. The cover completely detached, looked like somebody had wadded it all up in a ball and then tried to flatten it back out, chunks missing. I put it on. That thing went for nearly $100 on eBay.
Wow. People love that issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at my case and see if I've got one. Oh, my God.
I'm sure you'll wad it up if you find one.
Tom McFarlane did this.
Yeah. Oh, my
He got mad at the cover.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I was wondering about that because we have things that we were talking about eBay and how California is going to kind of hit because of taxes. So a lot of people aren't as interested to buy from a California store or a dealer, I should say.
Well, the way the taxes are supposed to work, it's your taxes in California. So like I say, even if they buy something from me, they still got to pay California taxes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, oof. I mean, we're mostly a storefront. And when I see something like that with eBay, and especially a California store, that is, in a sense, reassuring. But at the same time, you get so many more people being able to look at yourself or your stuff on internet than you are in your individual store. It's like kind of doubly hurting us, actually, when you look at it that way. Now, like, not as many people are going to come in my store, and then the ones that do are still going to have to pay like they were in my store.
Yeah. But now, if you sell, like say you put up an auction, I bought it, I have to pay Arkansas sales tax. I don't have to pay California sales tax.
Oh, I see. Oh, see, I was under the impression it was the other way around.
No, it's wherever they're collecting. Again, I'm on the city council, and we are really doing well on revenues from sales tax being collected ever since the internet sales tax went in. Revenues are way up. Now, they won't tell you exactly where they're coming from, but with all the local businesses closing down and revenues going up, that just tells you we're getting a lot of money from the internet. And so, you're paying taxes based on, if I buy it through eBay, it's going to be my taxes locally.
So I need to sell to places like your state, Washington and Oregon and that type of stuff. don't stay in
Well,
California or New York.
You know,
We're not
list all
shipping
your
there.
stuff and just sell it around the country, and they'll pay their taxes.
The
Well, it's
downside
like
to that,
I told
Uel, is
us-
that you're still paying California income tax rates on the money you make.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I sold a Godzilla on eBay, $200 Godzilla X Plus to a guy in California, and he had to pay. It was weird because he had to pay
Yeah.
California tax,
I see
even
it.
though
Yeah.
he bought it from me in Missouri. You know, that was. I'm like, what the hell is going on with that? But,
I see.
That was when
Okay, yeah.
California
Yeah.
bought it from me in Missouri, and had to pay California taxes.
yeah. So as long as
I
I don't,
remember the good old days when that didn't happen.
I know.
That's the Wild West then.
Tax? We don't need no stinking tax.
Oh man, this is the worst one.
Well, 2 weeks ago when we had everybody on here, Uel, we asked, I asked the guys, you know, what can the distributors and the publishers do to help the shops stay in business when they come back? And we had some ideas. And at that time, neither Marvel nor DC had opened their mouth. I mean, I don't know, Jim Lee hadn't seen his shadow yet, or he had seen it and ducked back into the office for another 6 weeks.
That's what
But
it was.
since that time, we have had statements from both the companies as to what their individual plans are for helping the stores. What are your takes on their thoughts? I mean, is that something you're like, yes, thank you very much, or what? No, get out of here with that.
A returnability is awesome. That is the way to go, without a doubt. And it's something that I really wish us as stores, the big ones, the small ones, the special social media ones, would all hang together and force it on Diamond to tell the distributor, the publishers, that we want to make returnability a thing. If I was going to barter with them, you know, they might, you know, give and take. They might say, well, we want to be able to put comics back in, you know, convenience stores and 7-Elevens and stuff like that. I think that's the way to go. It'll be okay, because we're going to be able to return our stuff also. So
The bad thing about that, though, is they will reduce your discount if they just make everything always
that
returnable.
a lot of people don't ever realize that. Number one, they don't realize that a return is just credit for future stuff. So even if I don't ever want to buy a DC comic again, I'm going to get credit for something that I'll never be able to spend. And then, like you said, yeah, just like when I'm ordering from Ingram, if I want to make sure that my account, I can return stuff, I get a smaller discount. So that is a problem, but that is going to depend on where your storefront is and how rent and all that stuff is playing out, because we're moving into a smaller rent place, and returnability is beautiful. You know, when you think about that, you know, rent being small. I also think, like, if Marvel and DC, I said this on Alternate Comics when I was on with them a couple weeks ago. If Marvel and DC, and they're the leaders, they're the ones that, you know, how the industry goes is how they go. If they really wanted to do something awesome for comic stores, they would make, I don't know, like 3 months just free for comic stores. We pay for the shipping, you know, maybe a little bit extra. And they just say, look, you're a major company, and these things are advertisement for your IPs, which are advertisements for your movies, and you don't really need to make money off these. And if you want to really get the economy flowing and people in stores, have not a free comic book day where it's just something that celebrates something that's going to happen. Have free comic book day quarter, because you can afford it. And, you know, I just think, like, you know, the more things that I could just shove out there and not necessarily need to make money. I know it's crazy to say stuff like this. It's like, when has Marvel ever not wanted to just like fleece people? But I really fear that if people don't have new comic books in their hands, they're going to realize that, man, I never needed them in the first place. I know customers.
That's the scary thing, yeah.
I have customers that come in and they cancel orders because they have a stack of it built up and they haven't read it. And that's because comics are coming out weekly or bi-weekly, not just monthly or bi-monthly like it used to be. And you're getting overloaded. I have a stack of comic books that are new right next to my bed, just like I know a lot of customers do. And we got to, like, We got to slow this down. And Marvel is already talking about slowing down their production. So if you're giving
About
3
1/3.
months, yeah, if you're giving away 3 months of a third of your product, what does it really matter to you? Let's get people going and caring. And I'm not sure if like crossovers are going to do that either. I don't know. That's my dream. Like, just bring people in, and maybe the comic store can make a couple bucks off it and not have to make the full money because we didn't pay for it.
Now, one pattern I've always noticed on the weekly comics, if it's a weekly comic, it's going to end up on 50-cent bin because weekly comics have no back issue demand. Now, there's never been one because they don't give enough time to develop the fan interest and become part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, weekly comics never have any collectability in the future.
I totally agree.
The market too. I mean, why does and I said this last time. Both Michael and I said this. Why does there have to be 8 different Batman titles and a dozen different Spider-Man titles? Let's get down to basics again. Get down to the original 3 that were there: Batman and Detective, and Superman and Action Comics, and Amazing Spider-Man and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
And then once every quarter, like they used to do, this big 80-page Batman family or big 80-page Superman family.
Right.
Well, they do that, but they give it to Walmart to sell before we get it.
Wow. Yeah, they do.
Bingo.
And I think that's what DC was talking about when they're talking about alternate distribution also. They're talking about Walmart. They've already got an in with them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they did that well. That's why they backed up on all those books and started selling them to us too.
Well, what I was
They didn't do
hearing,
that well for 'em.
what I was hearing also was that where Walmarts were compared to, or in conjunction to where stores were, it was stores that were actually going out and buying all the Walmart books and then selling it for it. Yeah. So there's no real guarantee like who's buying them. But yeah, there is I don't know. It isn't a guarantee. Actually, there's an Indiegogo company that Mitch Breitweiser has.
Yeah, he's a local guy.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah.
He's signed to my store. Lives down there.
He's awesome. I Indiegogo'd his Red Rooster just to let everybody know. And
They haven't got it yet.
No, they haven't, thankfully. Yeah, neither have I. But Alliance, I forget, Arts, I think is what they're called.
Allegiance.
Allegiance. Thank you. They are now in or they're going to be in Walmart soon.
I think Walmart demanded you can't distribute the Red Rooster until you get all our product out first. I think that was kind of part of the
yeah, I believe that.
But I know Mitch is still working on it. Mitch is not a fast artist. He's a good artist.
Yeah.
But he's not Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby, he could knock out 4 books in a week.
Yeah,
there's no Jack Kirbys out there.
Oh, I was
I'm
thinking,
surprised.
Quality-wise, I don't agree with the comparison. But as far as speed, Mark Bagley, that guy could get stuff out.
Can he?
Oh, yeah. That guy was really quick.
I'm kind of surprised with with DC having this inroad with Walmart, that they didn't take the super dickery move and say, well, we don't have to quit making comic books because none of your Walmarts are closed and we sell comic books there. We'll just put all our comic books there.
Well, Walmart won't sell comics in the South.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That goes back to an issue of Spawn that had a child molestation scene. And one of the Walmart heiresses was up at Bentonville, where the headquarters are here in Arkansas, bought her, I think it was her grandson. Oh, here, you want a comic book? Here, I'll get you this one. It was that one. Took one look at it, and comics were pulled in the South. They didn't sell it for a long time.
Yeah, so DC has to really, they can't have just anything go through Walmart. I mean, number one, Walmart can't possibly be, they can't possibly take on all of DC's product, even if it was just
Walmart
them.
will demand returnability.
Right. Well, and number two, they'll demand returnability. Right. And 3, we know that censored stuff does go through Walmart sometimes, and they're not going to like buy, a Mark Russell comic necessarily. Sometimes he can be a little political, and I don't think that would fly in a Walmart necessarily. So they definitely will have to change what they put out. Can't just have a Spawn child molestation story.
Yeah,
Going
Comic School
forward.
Authority fired back up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Walmart's not gonna give up real estate space.
That's the thing I was thinking. Also, yeah.
They're just not. They'll give you a spinner rack maybe.
Well, there could still be contracts with the the National Periodical Distribution Company where that would be in direct competition with them. That might have been why they did the pilot program on the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DC's so quiet about how and why they come up with their concepts that they're doing. It's like, they were like, hey, these things are going to come out in Walmart. And just to let you comic stores know, you ain't going to get it till the next year. Oh, thanks.
And they don't sell, do they?
They're okay. They're not really the biggest sellers, though, now. I think when they collected, they'll be better for me personally in my store.
They only sell like a single copy of. That's it.
Yeah, the Batman one's probably the one that sells the best, and it's Batman. You asked Dave why they keep putting out Batman books, but they have to just know that their best sellers are Batman books.
Well, Batman itself, yeah, that's still a title that sells out for me. Really, DC actually before this coronavirus shit hit, DC was selling the best in my store that it had yet with Year of the Villain, Batman, Wonder Woman, because you're getting ready to have a good storyline in Wonder Woman, so that was starting to move up the ladder. Where Marvel was just kind of, Marvel was always, what titles are going to sell. Venom, and Immortal Hulk. So, those are the big sellers for me. But, DC, as much as they get poo-pooed on, they have some decent storylines. Now, that being said, Batman Universe, I don't get that one at all. Nobody.
Yeah.
Are you guys? Do you guys love Bendis? I'm not as big a fan personally.
Yeah, I'm not either. He's got a few people buy him, but that's a few people. So he's Superman sales when he went over on it didn't change at all. You had the Superman fans that were going to buy it regardless of who was writing it.
I found that to be the case also. I personally don't read the Bendis Superman anymore, but for the most part, Superman sales are kind of, they're not Batman. They never have been for me.
No, they haven't. But they're steady. I have my steady Batman or Superman full list, But, it's not a lot of them. But, yeah.
See, DC
enough that you want to keep certain Superman titles on the shelf.
Mm-hmm. DC is easy for me to order because they have continuing numbering. They have sales history. I know how to order DC. I don't need to do returnables on DC. Right. Marvel, there's almost no sales history almost on anything that they put out. It's probably less than 10% that you actually, like Spider-Man and, there's a few other titles in there, again, like in the reboot, and they'll be rebooting those again in a few months. By the time you finally get to where what this is going to sell, they start it all over again. They get a little bump on that first issue, but it always goes down lower than what it was before they did the reboot. And they haven't figured out yet to go on this self-deprecating cycle.
Yeah. Everything with Marvel is an unannounced miniseries of indeterminate number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes they don't even tell you what it's going to be in the catalog anymore. It's like ongoing or one shot. They're just like,
what happened to it?
Tell you won't order it.
Yeah. We always meant this to be a 17-issue series. It was that way from the beginning.
17, hardly. If they make it past 11. Oh yeah. Well, truthfully, Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel. I always say Ms. Marvel, but Captain Marvel sold very well for us initially. But what you're doing is Marvel is doing. They're getting people to care about it that normally wouldn't read comic books. And so I had a large influx of new people. And then what do? They immediately put her into a cross-company, multi-part miniseries, maxi series. And these people aren't ever going to care about Spider-Man being in the story. And they did that with Marvel. They celebrated the time when they finally did it with Squirrel Girl. And the people that read that in my store do not care about a Marvel crossover. And every time they relaunch and do that, it really does hurt the story.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
Fine. Yeah, exactly.
It worked really good back in the 1980s with Secret Wars and Crisis, and it's had less results every time. Now it's actually become a detriment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and not only that, but when C.B. Cebulski came to Marvel to be the editor in chief, he said that they were going to limit how many series that they do, and they would do. Yeah, exactly. They'll do ones that are like weekly, and then towards the end they'll start a new one. And it's like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, I've always said that, used to when I started out, if you could count, you could collect a series and you knew how many you need to get, which ones you were missing. Nowadays, you've got to have a roadmap. Okay, well, here this title over here for these issues, and jumped over here then. And whenever you're going to have a roadmap, it's more of a roadblock to collecting. And they're just making it too hard on the fans. They have killed the Marvel zombie. There used to be customers who would buy everything Marvel made. I haven't seen those guys in years. And the same thing with DC. I mean, they have killed by just overwhelming them. Another thing that's killing the collectability as far as completists are the variants.
Ugh,
I mean, you can't get them all. Some of them are just so rare. It's just, people just they give up. And you just should not make it hard to be a fan.
Yeah, they do. And most comic book store owners are fans also, and they don't realize that that we. Well, a lot of people, you hear pros talk about how fans aren't the people that they're responsible to, have good conversations with, or they're not trying to. Yeah, they're not here to please the fans, but what they are here to please. They're not only the fans, but the comic store owners that are fans, and I buy more comic books than any one person as a store, and these people don't realize it sometimes.
I had to quit reading the comics because I found out I ordered better if I didn't. Because and one of the worst catalogs I ever did, I took it on a vacation with me. I read the previews and man, it's gonna be the best order. I ordered so much stuff that never sold. You can't go by your personal input because now I'm like, okay, I'll look at the catalog at the very end. Okay, it's time to place the order. Oh, hey, that looks like a great book. What? Nobody's got a reserve on it? Well, I guess it's not that great a book. So you can't go by what you think it's going to be good. The fans have to tell you, is this going to be something that's going to sell or not. And I order a whole lot better since I stopped reading them there. Plus, too, it got so repetitive to me. It's like I've read them all before. I mean, I can look at a cover and okay, this is where it's going to happen. This is the order the story is going to be. Glance at it. Yeah, there's just no surprises. When I was publishing my Wild Stars comics, I got a lot of great reviews on it. Got one negative review where the reviewer said, well, after the first page, I had no idea what was going to happen next. Isn't that kind of the point? He was just so used to the same pablum over and over again. When all of a sudden he got a story that was going to give him something new, he didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. It's funny. Go ahead.
You guys
Sorry.
get into the business because you are comic book fans. I mean, if you were getting into it to get rich, you'd all be selling marijuana dispensary stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how I can bridge the two. Now that
may be the new thing.
That's the like everybody's like, you got to diversify, have some games, have some Pokemon, have some toys. Now you need some weed.
Smokey-Mon.
Smokey-Mon. Exactly. Actually, there was a comic book that Image put out called Marijuana Man.
Yeah.
Was it really?
By Joe Casey and Jim Mahfood. That was when we first opened. And I was like, all right, this is going to be a great book.
There will be a nationwide chain called Rolling Papers and the Funny Papers.
I like it. Get that mail order going.
Yeah. Oh, they can start buying weed by mail order? Oh, my God.
It's over now.
Yeah.
Do the comic on the zigzags. Exactly. Yeah. It'll happen.
Now with special blue edges on the comic. You can use it for something else later.
Exactly.
You can read it, and then smoke the comic when you're done.
That's it, yeah.
There was the Harley Quinn special that they did. It was bagged. And supposedly it was like a scratch and sniff. And when you did, it would like smell like pot.
Oh, really?
But I didn't smell it, so I don't know.
Well, you always hear about edible comics.
Edible comics, yeah.
Oh, boy. These are all terrible ideas.
Come on, Marvel.
Hey, there's my new franchise.
Yeah.
What they could do right now is print it on the dissolvable paper. because the toilet paper is in short supply right now. So
Superhero
it
brand
right.
toilet paper.
tear off the page.
Right. Read it in white. So
Yeah.
Don't use the John Wayne comics though. He won't take shit off anyone.
yeah. Oh, boom. Okay.
All right, I think we have.
I think we've
overstayed
beaten
our
this
welcome
horse.
or something.
Yeah. We've beaten this horse.
All right, well, I think we beat it into the ground for another night, guys. I would say if you guys want to do this again in 2 weeks, I hope that we're all back in business then.
Really?
2 and 2.
2 and
Well,
2.
we have till what for us we have till the end of April.
Same here.
So yeah, 3 weeks then. But if you ever need me, I'm available.
All right.
At least
Well,
right
good
now.
to meet you, Uel. Good to see you again, Dave.
Thank
Good to see
you.
you again, RJ.
Yep.
I'll set it up for 2 weeks, and we'll just see what happens between now and then. And my day job says May 11th when I can go back. So
Wow.
we'll see when we can buy comics again. Guys,
Hopefully soon.
appreciate you being here. Thank all the viewers for coming in. And if you hit the replay and you like this sort of thing, let us know in the comments section. It really does help us out. Share this with other people. Let them know that we are here. And if you want to help the channel out, just swing on by criticalblast.com. Let the ads do your speaking for you. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you do need product, Critical Blast is a publisher through Ingram. And our first young adult superhero novel, Bulletproof Origins, is out in hardcover, been out since October. Young Cody Haywood wakes up on his 16th birthday to find out he is bulletproof. Unfortunately for Cody, he has the attention span of a parrot on pixie sticks, so he has a focus issue. His friends has to help him through that. If he wants to be a superhero before the terrorists who would also like to be bulletproof, get him and get his secret out of him. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll do it again in 2.
Take care. Thank you. Good seeing y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
And we all do the